Welcome back to Games. I'm happy to share a really quick and easy warm-up for groups of all sizes, but definitely bigger groups, like groups of more than 10 people in total, that I've used many, many, many times, and it's called Flock. And this is really good for groups where people are like not warmed up, they don't really know each other, they're kind of sleepy, they're a little bit cranky. It's like, don't make me talk with anyone, don't put me on the spot. And so it works for teenagers often, and various other people. But here's how it works. You get everyone to stand up. You can't be sitting for this game. And you say, do you know what a flock is? And someone will say, yeah, like a flock of birds. And I say, yes. So I'm going to be a bird, and I want all you to be birds too. And I'll start by doing this motion. Inevitably, it's always this one. Waving my little bird wings. And I'll say, just do as I do. And everyone starts waving their bird wings. Okay, great. And I say, now I'm going to change and I'm going to do something new. And I want you to do the same thing I do. And I'll do something really simple. Some people make this really like extreme or crazy or difficult. It's like, no, keep it super simple and make it something that theoretically a bird could do. You know, maybe like this. So it also serves as like a physical warm-up game. And everyone starts doing this. And then I say, okay, now I'm going to point to someone. This can double as a name game too, but that's not the emphasis. And then so I point to that person, maybe say their name, and I say, now you start doing a new move, and we're all going to follow you. So that person starts doing something. Could involve the legs. If someone does something that's like not possible for other group members to do for mobility reasons or whatever, then say, do something simpler or do something smaller. So you have to like actively facilitate, especially with really energetic or athletic people right off the bat. And you say, now, after a few seconds, you point to someone else and they do something new. And everyone's like, okay, this is like a kindergartner game. It's like, now you point. And then they point to someone else. And it's like, you say, okay, great. We know how a flock of birds works, except we are not a flock of birds right now, not yet, because flocks of birds don't point to each other. They don't signal each other. One bird just starts doing something, and the other birds start following along. And so how we actually play this game is the same person who's just doing their motion. We're going to keep doing that motion until someone else in the group silently decides to do something new. And if you notice another bird doing something new, then follow along. This is what birds do. You see the bird in the front takes a right turn, and the flock takes the right turn. And so I might do that for about 30 seconds. And usually people are pretty timid to be the one who tries to redirect the group into a new motion. And so I like to look around and kind of throw eyes at people and be like, maybe like choose someone who I know would be interested in doing this and be like, and to kind of get that moving. And then I pause everyone again and I say, great. Now let's have many birds trying to get other birds to do things. And so even if you see another bird trying to do something new, you can try to do something new too. And then the other birds around you need to look and decide who they're going to follow. And it's not a competition. It's not a popularity game. It's just, okay, it's like this hive mind type of activity where you're looking around and you're like, what am I feeling? What's the collective telling me to do? And maybe you are like the second person to follow a bird that's trying to get everyone else to do something. Then you realize that nobody else is copying you. And you're like, okay, I'm going to maybe go back to the thing that was happening before. And this game can go on for a shockingly long time. Often it needs to get cut off because like we have other things to do. But it's a wonderful get up. You don't have to talk to each other. You don't have to be very active. You do need to move your body. And it allows people to be conformists in this like most basic, visceral way. And the ones who do want to add some creative element or want to move their body in a certain way allows them to express that and to try to like silently convince the group to do what they're doing. That's the whole game. I'd say I would play this for about, including all the intro stuff, maybe like 4 or 5 minutes in total, unless they're super into it. This happens every now and then. And then it's like, just ride the wave, because people get pretty wild. That's Flock. If you have a question, go ahead and just throw it out there. There might not be any.
I really like this. It started off similarly to a game that we play constantly at my school. When I first learned it, it was called Head Honcho, but I felt that was inappropriate. So now we call it Ringleader. And it's like there's one leader in the circle, and there's a guesser trying to figure out who is the leader. It's my car being too smart. They leave the room, then they have to come back and figure out who's the leader. They get 3 guesses. The kids really enjoy that because there's game. There's always like speakers who are like, I'm just gonna do something, or I'm gonna try and set everybody off, or just say something random, or do something random. So I love that this is like that's what this game is for. That's really cool.
Yeah. We lost you a little bit there, Laura, but I think I got the gist. And what you're describing has like Mafia, the game Mafia vibes to it also. Quietly thinking like, who is the person who's actually leading this? And I like those kinds of games too. I'd say this is something I would start with at the very, very beginning, and especially for like the sleepy people. Great. Any other comments or questions before we move on to the next? Yeah, Kelly.
I just wanted to clarify, because I've played a similar game in a dance class, and I realized I was kind of picturing what we did in the dance class, but I'm wondering if what you were saying was like, is everybody moving around like a whole big space as a flock of birds, and one person like kind of like in that triangle shape at all, or just?
Good question. I've played this where everyone is stationary in the room. They're not moving across the floor. But that's an interesting element you can add. I found that to do these rhythmic motions, often it gets a bit complicated if you're migrating across the space also. Yeah, but cool. I like that. I might try that in just a few days. Yeah. All right. And Kay, yeah. You have to unmute yourself.
Thank you. I'm curious if this game, or how this game might be played virtually, because this feels like such a physical in the room game, and a lot of what I do is virtual, is online. So
yeah. This game is definitely one that I think is best in person, but it seems like you could do this if it was just the upper body, and it's just like everyone can follow me right now. Like, do what I'm doing. If you have free hands, yeah, and then Kelly, start doing something new. Yeah, so it's kind of limited in the scope of motion. Yeah, exactly. I think it would feel like something you could do really briefly for just like a minute or two, but to still get that sort of mind meld collective consciousness effect. But that's not one I would push on for too long in an online context.